All right. Well, speaking of transparency,
Yeah,
Lyft, if you've seen this in your app, Lyft is becoming a little more transparent when it comes to their trip
way,
receipts,
way more transparent.
and it's
Way.
pretty nice to see. And there's some interesting information when you actually dive into the trip receipts.
Yes. So this is in California again. And then also, guess who? The second this showed up, guess who emailed me, Chris? Joe, our good Joe Negrao in Chicago, who has a video. We put up his video last week in Behind the Wheel series. We were
Mhm.
talking about all this time shaving, bro. Okay. And I did send that video to the Lyft people, by the way, right? And now look at this. You have, because we were keeping track of what the estimate was, what the ping came in, and what the actual trip was, and we were getting shaved 3, 4, 5 minutes on each trip out of 20 trips a day. If we do an hour, we're driving for free. No mas, people, no mas. Take a look at this. The estimated time and versus the actual time. So, how do you like, guys? This transparency. I love this. So here on the left is the estimated ping, whatever the estimate came in at. And on the right, in a split screen, is the actual finishing ending point of the trip. So on this one, instead of 17 minutes and 9.3 miles, the trip ended up being 16 minutes and 6.64 miles. And that's why this driver got a little haircut on the upfront. Okay, justifiably so, because he want less by time and less by minutes. Okay. And when they did cut the time, Chris, when they did cut the time, the time and distance of this trip, maybe the passenger got off at an earlier stop. Look, it reverted back to the time and rate card of the city. Look at the middle screenshot. That's exactly what we said to Lyft about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I go, this is so simple. If it's short, take away my money. If it's long, pay me by the rate card. Hello. Now, we're not going to take credit for this, but I know we have a lot to do with this. Okay. So
Well,
this for me,
there's one gripe I do have with this particular screenshot.
what's that?
So if the ride, the whole
Yeah.
point with upfront pay and upfront fares was if you got it there quicker or faster,
Yeah.
that they wouldn't change the upfront fare.
Mm,
So just because that driver was able to shave about 3 miles off,
yeah.
he also got a $3 pay cut when it came down to it.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that there's transparency when it
Yeah.
comes to the actual and estimated, and then it's going to the earnings time. But
Yeah.
if you're shaving $3 off,
Yeah.
that's where I find an issue, especially if you're going to say, hey, the pickup and the drop off are the same, but you got there in a quicker and faster route.
But on this one, the trip was 3 miles less, 2.5 miles less. Instead of 9.3, ended up at 6.64. So I think the cut on this is justified. And they were doing that anyway. So
I would say only if as long as the drop off was actually changed. If the drop off was the same, then that upfront fare shouldn't be changing. If it's greater than the rate card.
Yeah. Okay. No, I agree with you. But all I'm saying is this. I'm saying if the upfront comes in, it's completely out of whack. Because look, last 2-3 weeks, we've shown trips that have gone over by an hour, and we've shown.
Oh yeah.
We've shown that no adjustment was made. Not only that, we've shown Lyft support saying, "Oh, time doesn't matter at all. We don't care." I'm like, okay. So listen, I sent all of this thing to Lyft every after each show. I go, here, take it. You just look at this and fix this. And sure enough, okay, this. Now you don't have to sit through spreadsheets like my good old Joe does in Chicago. And he got it in Chicago. And his email says, Serge, it worked. They're listening. I go, yeah, they're listening. So Joe thinks we had something to do with it. And here they are. Here's this. Now, this middle trip, I don't know who would take that in its face value at all. I mean, that guy got smashed, right? So that trip came in at 1 hour and 11 minutes. This is LA, people. This is what it takes to go 14 miles in LA. The estimate was 1 hour and 11 minutes for 14 and a half miles. The actual ended up being 40 minutes and 8 miles and 8.87 miles. Upfront came in as 2034, but they cut this poor guy's to 1036 by 50%, Chris. So now again, I am not saying, but first of all, even at 1 hour and 11 minutes at the upfront fare of 2034, this trip should not have been taken anyway. Okay, but he took it or she took it, whatever. I'm not going to question that part, but what I'm saying is that I absolutely love this. That this is the upfront. This is on the right screenshot. Look what happened. The upfront came in at 362 because the trip was 2.43 miles and 13 minutes. The passenger changed the destination. He went for 11.3 miles and 31 minutes, so 18 more minutes and about 9 more miles. And the upfront went from 362 to 12. It was adjusted up by close to $9. This would not have happened. This would not have happened. This is happening, people. So if you're in your city and you get this, please send me screenshots and what city you're in. This is happening in Chicago. This is happening in LA. I think this is absolutely wonderful. Absolutely freaking wonderful. Okay. And here's one on the downside. And we need to work. And I actually did email Lyft and saying that, look, this is great, but you guys need to work on this because we're still getting garbage like this. $2.62, 6 minutes, 1.47 estimate. Actual was 10 minutes and 2.33 miles. So longer in distance, longer in time by 4 minutes and about a mile longer. And they didn't adjust this driver's up. Upfront was 262. They ended up paying 262. This is a joke. This should not exist in the system. That's why we're going to push for the Seattle model, Washington State model, now Minneapolis model, because no trip should be less than $5 anywhere in any city. This is a joke. LA, $2.62 is a joke. We're going to try to fix that as well. But I think this is wonderful. Thank you, Lyft, if you're listening. And here's another one. Trip went longer. Fare got adjusted on the right-hand side. Yes, it got adjusted by about $2.50, but that would have never happened in the old days. The distance on this trip, Chris, was basically the same, maybe 0.2 more miles longer. But instead of 32 minutes, it lasted 39. So 7 more minutes. This driver got paid about $2.70 for 7 more minutes. I think it's pretty fair. So they are looking, they are adjusting, and they're giving you all the transparency you guys want, so you don't have to do a spreadsheet like Joe does to figure out how much you got shaved. I think this is absolutely amazing. I think this is head and shoulders above what Uber's upfront is. So there you go.
Yeah, when it breaks it down, I think that's good. But the biggest thing, though, is I want to look and notice their estimates. You notice when you open up the app, you get a trip request coming in, and it'll tell you what it is, and then you put it in a Waze or Google Maps, and it's completely off from what it is. That's something that I want to see. And are they going to adjust it down because their estimates are off? That to me would be a problem as well too. So these are things you love it. I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit. The biggest thing is we've seen them decrease a substantial amount when it comes to a significantly shorter trip, which is 3 miles, but haven't done anything when it's double the time and an hour and a half more. These are things that need to be solved in the correct way, not in the way where we're still charging the rider the exact same price, but because you found a way to make it 3 miles less, we're going to take a little bit off the top. I mean, that's just being efficient and smart. But then when it comes down to their estimates being off to begin with, and are they going to adjust off of those estimates, whether it's down or up, that's one of the things that they need to make sure that their estimates are correct. And that's what I want to know.
Speaking of the devil, there's Joe. Still need to keep an eye on the upfront offer estimate. I noticed that the estimate reported on the pay screen isn't always the same. Okay, I get it. But I am saying it's a step in the right direction, and I like it. Could we enhance it? Could we improve it? Absolutely. Is it done? Yes. So I am absolutely in favor of this new split screen version. Nobody's saying don't keep track of your Google Maps or Waze or fact check, whatever. No problem. Keep doing it. But I think this is absolutely right step in the right direction, and we'll see where it goes. And hopefully it improves. So.
Yeah, I like what Tony says. Adjust upfront fares to a predictable and transparent rate card. Yeah,
we're going to talk
that I
about
think
that
is
on
much better.
Saturday, Tony. We're going to talk about that on Saturday. There you go.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you get notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.